Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. Right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Hit that join button. $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content, including the award-winning Ask Steven Larson.
Hasn't actually won any
We
awards.
don't talk anything about wrestling, though that bonus content is also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson at the $5 and up mark. $1 and up gets you the show ad-free. $5 gets you all sorts of bonus content. $20, we're coming to the end of the month. $20 gets you the Friendo Care Package. Comic book, poster, stickers.
Oh, wow.
Money. We throw in $100 bills randomly
Those
every single month.
we need to keep those.
We do not throw $100 bills in there. But yeah, it's great. And it really does support Going In Raw. So check it out. Patreon.com/Steven
Yes,
Larson.
yes.
And of course, the $20 mark, Larson. Not only do you get the Friendo Care Package, but you get to put your video question right here on Matt Chat. Stop taking those scissors away, Sid. Right here on Matt Chat. It's my favorite show. The wealth of questions out there we get from the friendos. One of my favorite parts of the week is sitting back watching either 205 or UK here with you and going through these Matt Chat questions during commercial breaks. So let's go ahead and kick things off with a very quick question from Liam Jones. Let's see what he has to say.
Is Vince McMahon really to blame for all the bad creative?
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you, Liam. I'll go first.
All
I
right.
usually do.
Yeah.
We go in alphabetical order. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is absolutely all Vince's fault. The man, by all accounts, is a control freak. He's a micromanager. He's the chairman of the board. He is basically, from what we understand in the eyes, especially of shareholders, which is kind of what matters, irreplaceable. So even if word got out that Vince was starting to cede some of his day-to-day operations, creative, whatever, to people like Triple H or Stephanie, shareholders won't be happy about that. The stock price will start dipping down. So even if it's by virtue of keeping the company as profitable, as healthy as he wants it to be, as possible, he's got to stick to what he's doing, and everything goes through him. He has the final word on everything. Biggest example of this lately is the Viking Experience. They showed up, War Raiders, didn't like it. Don't know why, didn't like it. So he changed the Viking Experience, and that caused such a hubbub. Evidently, he actually listened to reason on that one and redubbed them Viking Raiders, which was a compromise of sorts.
Yeah, still worse than War Machine. Anyways, at the end of the day, buck stops with Vince. He's.
I think, and oftentimes it starts with him as well.
Yeah. But I guess the only argument I could think of why it might not rest totally on Vince's shoulders is he still oversees all creative. He still has final say in all creative matters, but he is still soliciting ideas from a creative writing team. And if the creative writing team isn't offering up ideas that are up to snuff, that are good, then I guess in one sense Vince has his choice of a bunch of subpar ideas. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that if you want to try to find a way to make this not entirely Vince's fault, which it is because the buck stops with him, that could be it. However, he Triple H has said recently that Vince still likes doing creative stuff. If the creative writing team isn't giving him ideas he likes, he can fire them all, or he can come up with his own ideas. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah.
It's his company. He's synonymous with his product by and large. He still oversees all creative operations, seemingly at a granular level. Therefore, if stuff is great, he deserves some of the credit. If stuff is garbage, he deserves all the blame.
Some of my favorite stories are the behind-the-scenes stuff. For example, the gauntlet match from not this last one, but the one before the Seth one, like last year. God, yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, the one that Seth was in for an hour.
Yeah,
yeah.
But evidently, the entire idea of that was Vince's. That's always fun to hear. Whenever something good happens, that's always interesting. 5 hours of TV just between Raw and SmackDown is a lot.
Yeah.
I understand they have a lot of writers, but I don't know if there's an idea that can be conceived that can't be ruined
Yes.
by the person with whom the buck stops.
Yes.
And that person is Vince McMahon. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
And the
he
day,
is.
his company, he oversees it all. Buck stops with him.
And
If something's garbage.
The level of talent.
Responsibility rests at Vince's feet.
The level of talent in WWE is such that more often than not, these are all people who, if given something, they will run as far and fast and hard as they can with it. An example years ago was Cody Rhodes was given. Thank you, Father. Was given. I know it's embarrassing. Was given Stardust to work with.
Your Mad logo there is eating some blueberry muffin.
He was hungry. Boy, I tell you what, that blueberry muffin was hella good. Anyways.
All right, let's move on
I'm
to.
glad I'm recording. That's on Best Of now.
Oh, I'll stay in the episode. What are you talking about? Next, we got a question from Christian. Let's see what Christian has to say.
Hey Steve, hey Larson, it is the Hall of Famer Christian here with another Matt Chat question. Sorry, this is the only time I can do it. This is while driving right now, but my eyes are on the road. I am safe. A question to you guys this week is regarding Sasha Banks. She seems to be unhappy. There's with her contract stalemate and things of that nature. My question to you guys this week is, if you were in her shoes, what would you do? Would you go to Japan, go to Stardom, Women of Honor, AEW, or would you work things out with the WWE? What route would you take if you were in her shoes? Too sweet, hearty handshake. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Christian.
And congratulations on your fun wrestling day.
That hasn't happened yet.
That hasn't happened yet,
yet.
really? It's not happening
Wait, yeah,
Thursday?
it is happening Thursday. Congratulations, Christian.
Congratulations.
And try not to drive while doing Matt Chat questions, please.
Yeah, just pull over to the side of the road.
Yeah.
It's a minute long. Just
Yeah.
pull over, man. Anyways,
To
we'll
address
answer it, though.
his question, you know me, I'm a bit of a malcontent.
Are you really? I didn't know that, Larson. I actually didn't know that. I know you can be surly sometimes.
Isn't
but
that
I
kind of
didn't
being a
realize-
malcontent?
Well, no, that's like several shades past surly.
All right. Well, I'm somewhere between surly and malcontent,
Oh, fair enough.
depending on one's definition. So if I were to be in Sasha's shoes, I would completely understand the situation. Because I don't know, we talked about this on was it the Monday News Show. Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly where. About the kind of double standard when men's wrestlers saying, oh, they're upset with their creative, they're upset with their position, versus women's wrestlers when they do the same. Mm-hmm. Especially in Sasha's case, she seems to get dumped on a lot.
Yeah.
Seemingly regardless of what she does. But if I were in her shoes, I would think, okay, well, this is an isolated incident. This, WWE telling her and Bayley they're dropping the belts at Mania, and then also they're breaking them up. If you take everything within the context of everything she said about her main roster run, primarily being that there's basically no vision on main roster, it's booked day to day. You don't know what you're doing. Things change on the fly. I would understand why that would be frustrating, especially when you just come out of a situation in NXT where there's a plan. You know what you're doing. Your character is consistent. And then this could just very well be the straw that broke the camel's back when they give you some assurances, reportedly, that you're going to be carrying those titles for a while, bring legitimacy to those titles, and then you find out at the biggest show of the year, no less, that you're dropping those titles and they're breaking you up. That would probably irritate me to no end. Not to say, I don't know if I would go so far to say, all right, screw this, done, quitting. Don't know. But I would understand the source of irritation. But given that she is apparently, all that we've heard, tried to quit, they're giving her some time off. They're at a bit of a stalemate now where she's considering sitting out her contract. Again, if everything's to be believed. What should she do now? Largely, that depends on the duration of her contract. Now, if she's got 2 years left on it, and if she's willing to sit on the sidelines for 2 years, if that's what she chooses to do, cool. That's rough, though, when your primary source of making a living you can't do for 2 years. I don't know if she has any endeavors outside of the world of wrestling that she can explore while not being able to wrestle. that would allow her to capitalize on her fame from WWE without using her name.
Cameo.
Well, that only goes so far.
Twitch streaming.
Again, only goes so far.
I wonder. I'm legitimately curious to know if she started up a Twitch channel. Here's the thing. I don't know how much of a gamer. I mean, we talked to her about gaming before. She seemed to be more of an old school gamer.
Yeah.
Not like a current gamer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure maybe the WWE could sue her for starting up a Twitch channel.
It could be.
She would make a ton of money off that.
Yeah, probably.
She really would if she was in. I mean, she'd probably have to have. No, people would probably just.
They'd bug her the whole time, like, when are you going back to wrestling?
You looked like Kramer when he said that. When are you going back to wrestling?
So
yeah, but they'd be dropping her, subs and stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Here's
100 bits when you go back to WWE.
Yeah. Alex C has a question. When are you going back to WWE? I've heard that 50 times.
Ban. So it depends. Now she has 6 months or even a year left. Yeah, if she thinks that's a benefit of her to sit it out and see what opportunities are available to her when she's free from the deal, why not? Mm-hmm. Now WWE, as it stands right now, is far and away top dog when it comes to platform for women's wrestling.
Yeah,
but All Elite is from the very beginning put a real emphasis on their women's division. Mm-hmm. So if they were to want her as part of the company, should she be a free agent, I'm sure she would be more than welcome there.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's all a pretty massive step down from what she was doing. You got Women of Honor, which is kind of, I think they've really been doing that only for about a year or something like that. It's not been very long. Impact, you don't know what their future is going to hold at any given time.
I'll be honest, I even think that All Elite's like a pretty massive step down. I mean, number one, we don't even know what All Elite's going to look like. We haven't even confirmed like what network they're going to be on. And I think that if you look at their women's division, there isn't a women's division in WWE that isn't vastly superior to that. I mean, even NXT UK has a better women's division than All Elite Wrestling. And I like a lot of the names in All Elite. I think they're fantastic. But I don't know, man. I think that it boils down to what kind of leverage she has inside the company, which seems to be pretty huge because WWE, by all indications, really does want to work it out with her. And they're not just going to release her because they understand that she probably makes a lot of money for the company, and the company probably makes a lot of money for her.
Could potentially make a lot of money for some other company if she were to work there.
But it also depends on the kind of outside leverage you have. And yeah, I mean, if she wants to wrestle in a place that, I mean, from all indications, I would think that the booking at All Elite Wrestling would be more long-term focused. It would be more, well, this is what we have planned for you, and this is what we want to see through. And it's not going to be subject to the whims of a crazy old man. However, that being said, none of those dudes have history or have any solid long-term booking experience. So we have no idea how that's going to play out.
Well, you don't think being the Elite books long-term?
Well, it's not really, maybe they do. They have ghosts there. So
hey, and that story paid off.
So yeah. So there are unknowns outside the WWE. So I don't know. I mean, what would I do? What would Steve do if I was in Sasha Banks' shoes? I would imagine I'm not like Sasha Banks. Like, I don't know. I look at people like, and I guess the reason why I bring up the outside leverage thing, and I it does annoy me when the Revival, go backstage and they say, hey, we're not happy here, we want out. The Revival have an instant hot feud outside the WWE waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Sasha doesn't really have that. None of the women in WWE really have that. And so if you look at it from a business perspective, number one, I don't think that she's being whiny. I don't think that she's being, difficult from our perspective. We're not on the inside, obviously.
Yeah.
But I understand, like everything you said is true. If you're unhappy, if vision matters to you, if the creative aspect of wrestling matters to you, and you want some direction, you want some focus, a lot of people in WWE are able to deal with the lack of that stuff in WWE. Becky Lynch was, she lost her SmackDown championship, and she was just a regular mid-carder for a very, very long time. They pulled the trigger on one thing, on a heel turn. The crowd ate it up, and boom, look at her now. She's Becky Two Belts. A lot of people have a lot of patience and are willing to stick it out and grind their way to it. Sasha Banks was a main eventer. And, then they gave her this thing to really, really bite into, this tag team championships. Oh, guess what? Not only are you dropping the titles, you're being split up. So you're not going to be a tag team anymore. I can imagine that is a very, very frustrating situation to be in. Me personally, I'd probably say, all right, I'll make the most of it. I'm still making a crap ton of money. And, I know that regardless, like Sasha Banks would be a major player wherever she went. If she was still on SmackDown, she'd be a major player. If she was on Raw, she'd be a major player because Bayley went to SmackDown, so she would stay on Raw. I mean, Raw, she would be dominating Raw right now. I know they were probably going to push Lacey Evans regardless, but Sasha would be waiting there, maybe to be the second or third challenger to Becky Lynch. Maybe she'd be the one to take the Raw title off her. I don't know. But, as Seth Rollins has said, when referencing Dean Ambrose, it can be a frustrating place to work. I totally understand that. My disposition would be, you know what, I tend to look at things on the bright side and say, you know what, I'm still a big commodity. They can still get a lot out of me, and I'm still going to be building my brand, making a lot of money, and I'll be fine. But she had a lot of success from a very young age in wrestling. Like, just a couple of years after she started wrestling, she was in WWE Developmental. So maybe she just has high expectations for what she wants, and that's totally fine. You're allowed to do that.
Totally.
Christopher Rappersad has a question about the title scene. Let's see what he has to say.
Hi, Stephen Larson. So my question is, who do you think is going to hold that belt the longest? Seth, Becky, or Kofi? Who do you think is going to lose it out of those three? You guys debate and figure out who you think is going to keep it longer or who's going to lose it, who have the most chance of losing it.
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher.
So I'm gonna wager this. I don't think they're gonna have Kofi drop that title too soon because a lot of people will point to WrestleMania and say, "Oh, you just did that for the moment," and then crapped on it. That's why I'm really happy about this Kevin Owens feud. I think it's gonna be a really good feud.
Yes, I think so too.
There's that. Becky, I think they really like her, and they like all these people.
Yeah.
But I think they really like the idea of her having both these belts, and I think it oddly, her holding both these titles, having that target on her, and having her defend it 2 times at each pay-per-view. I really like that idea, and I think WWE is going to roll with that for a while. I don't think they're going to, because I think that is a special attraction to itself. Watch Becky wrestle twice at pay-per-views. That's kind of crazy. And so I'm actually going to say it's Seth Rollins. I think that if you look at both triple threat matches on Raw to determine the number one contender, I think that the talent level is so skyrocketed. It's so high over there. You got Drew, you've got Baron, you've got AJ. I think that now that the Universal title is free from Brock and it's free from the specter of Roman, I think Seth is probably going to be the first person to drop that title. They might, just to loosen things up, have him drop it, pick it back up, drop it, pick it back up. I could see him perpetually being in the scene for the next couple of years while people like Drew, Miz even maybe, AJ, some other guys get their hands on it. I can see that being the case and sooner than later. I think Seth might actually drop that thing at Money in the Bank in a cash-in. That also wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me if Becky were to beat Lacey Evans and then after a hard-fought match with Charlotte, lose the SmackDown title. Because here's what you do if that's the case. You still have her with the Raw title. Everybody's gunning for her on Raw. But then on SmackDown, you have a completely different dynamic where she's still there and she's still trying to get that title back.
Would she still be on? What would be the justification for her being on SmackDown?
She wants her title back that she lost. She wants to get it back.
Well, then wouldn't she be like just on SmackDown? Well, she'd be the
no, she'd be the Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, they can justify it any way they want, I guess.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know.
Because then you have her chasing one title while holding the other one. So you just got two completely different dynamics going on there with two different titles with the same person. I think that'd be interesting. The story they're going to just scroll all the way down to the score. The dynamic or the completely lost my train of thought there. Anyways, Becky.
There you go.
Oh, the idea that she has to wrestle twice at every pay-per-view. Obviously, they're going with the idea of the story that she's going to do everything to defend both those titles. and it's going to wear her down.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's going to take a couple of
Oh,
pay-per-views
totally
to do
could.
it.
Totally
I
could.
think Seth is dropping that shit. Well, I don't know. Maybe. We've heard that whoever they want to have the next Money in the Bank, they want them to look like a star.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to, like, I don't know how you're going to do that beyond, I mean, they cash in, they win, or they win the Money in the Bank and then they just go on a win streak or something? Is that how they mean be a star?
Or just, well, I think a lot of them, they didn't really, like Baron's run with Money in the Bank briefcase was not great. He was failed cash in and humiliated by John Cena. He looked like a chump after all that.
Yeah, but his run with the briefcase, I don't know. How do you quantify? How do you qualify like how good a run with the briefcase is?
Well, I think there's one thing that has to happen. They have to successfully cash in.
Right, but leading up to that,
Well, that's all over the place. I mean, historically, if history has
like
told
when
us,
Braun had it, it was like, well, how is this?
Again, he looked like a
doesn't
chump,
even-
too.
Yeah, he doesn't even need it.
no, he looked like a total chump because for the longest time, he was like, next time Brock's in the room, I'm going to cash in and attack him. And then he scheduled his cash in advance in a cage match, and then he lost it. Or not cage match, a match at Crown Jewel, and he lost it.
Seth had a good run with the
Yes.
briefcase.
Yes.
and I'm not talking about just.
But
the
far
cash.
too often, someone wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they go into like a massive losing streak. It happened countless times.
Yeah.
First, you got to avoid that, and then of course the obvious thing that has to go right is you have to actually successfully cash in.
Yeah.
That's kind of the major problem. I mean, I think first star-making turn in match itself when they claim briefcase, then a good run while carrying briefcase and successful cash in with briefcase. I think those are the three major steps you have to achieve if you want a star-making turn for whoever is Money in the Bank winner.
I think Seth's going to lose that title. Willism has a question about a person about to depart the WWE if WWE will ever actually let him go. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, Steven Larson. So this is Willism, a.k.a. Will Ditton, a.k.a. that guy that sent you that CM Punk email the other day, a.k.a. Potato Face Mazanin Sr., and I got another question for you guys. So my question is this, guys. Seeing that Dean Ambrose is now leaving WWE and has some time to kind of hone his craft, what can he do to really improve his overall character? I think he's one of the best promo guys in WWE. He has great delivery, and he's got great timing. He doesn't have continuity, and that always drove me nuts about him, and that's even evident on the Stone Cold podcast, where he could phone it in and just kind of make a promo up, and that was good and all, but from a week-to-week basis, it made no sense. He had no continuity. So what can he do to improve that? Anyway, too sweet. Hearty handshake. Coming from your pal, Willism. Take care, boys.
Thank you, Willism.
Thank you, Willism.
I think Willism's right. Consistency is key. It's something Dean needs to work on, I believe. His inconsistency in WWE, how much of that is due to his seeming like he seemed like he phoned it in sometimes. But, who knows? Maybe creative should take some of the blame for that because he wasn't always given the best stuff.
No.
But, he's a good promo guy. But again, his promos were kind of all over the map. Some are really good. Some are like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And some of his performances, even the promo was fine. I'll always remember that one where he was, when she turned heel, where he's in the doctor's office doing this.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was not good.
Yeah.
I'm sure the script didn't say do this.
Maybe it did.
Maybe.
Give me gun fingers,
At the camera, yeah. It just needs to be, that's one thing that's kind of missing from him, I felt like. And again, that isn't necessarily all his fault, maybe. It was just consistency of his character, consistency of performance, in ring, on the mic, all around. And hell, maybe when he was top guy in CZW, that was all there. Maybe he was wildly consistent. Just given the environment WWE with all the upheaval, all the lack of consistency behind the scenes, maybe that just wore him too much. Therefore, lack of consistency in front of the camera too.
I think creative never knew what to do with Dean Ambrose. I think that was evident. They never understood what they had with him. I think here's the thing. One of my favorite CM Punk stories was when he felt that they were not utilizing him to the best of his ability. He went home and wrote, I don't know, a couple months worth of TV.
It's like 14 weeks worth of television.
And then brought it to Vince and said, here, I have this for you. Now, Dean might be the kind of guy who's like, yeah, it's not my job. Why would I do that? However, if you're not happy with your creative, and you want better creative, it can't hurt, I would guess, just judging by what CM Punk did, to come up with your own creative. Apparently, Bray is very highly involved in the
Saw that too.
Firefly Funhouse thing.
Saw that too. It's promising.
And so, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's one of those things where maybe you just try to write your own ticket and say, hey, here, I've got a million ideas for you. I think they're money. I think it's up my alley. We've seen good Dean Ambrose.
We have.
And so I think that it's a possibility that he could be consistently good. But we've seen characters. I mean, it's not exclusive to him. We've seen guys like him, Bray Wyatt. There are certain characters that you just need to have faith that you can. In some respects, I think characters like Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt, you have to go all in on in a certain way that WWE likes the status quo.
Oh, yes.
When I get into a feud with you, it's going to be done in 3 or 4 months, and you're going to come out the same, and I'm going to come out the same.
Yeah.
It's like, Marvel or DC back in the day in the comic books. It's like Superman would go off, he'd do something, and he'd be fine. Nobody would really be changed.
Yeah.
And so they like that because it helps the serial nature of they don't want people to be changing too much. I mean, look at Finn Balor. He hasn't changed at all, and we're like dying for him. Man, come on, give him some edge, give him some Prince Devitt stuff.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit.
And so I think characters like Bray and Dean, they need to those characters require some amount of, a dynamic energy where they change, they go through things.
Well, I think they need to change, and they also need to change people who have feuded with them.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that in a certain way, you have to go all in on certain aspects of their characters, and WWE just doesn't like taking those risks, and that's the main problem.
Yeah. Next, another Dean question from a magical unicorn.
Oh, I love unicorns.
Greetings, Stephen Larson. I'm the magical unicorn, and here's my Matt Jack question. Dean Ambrose isn't going to retire, right? Why would a man who got that jacked, who loves the business, retire when he could go to AEW, be one of the faces of the company, and make lots of money on less dates? Have a good day! Yeah!
Thank you, magical unicorn.
Magic. No, Dean Ambrose is not going to retire. In fact, I expect him back by Survivor Series.
Oh, in WWE?
Yeah. Because I don't think that. Wait, what are we in now? We're here.
It's April.
SummerSlam's in
4 months, a little bit less than 4 months.
He might be back in time for SummerSlam. I think that he's just going to go and rest up for a little bit.
I think you're right about that, but I wouldn't be surprised he's gone for a little bit. And I think it's kind of a 50-50 proposition whether he ends up back in WWE or somewhere else. I don't think it's given necessarily he'll end up back in WWE because why would he go back to a situation knowing exactly what it is unless he has some semblance of confidence that it's going to change. But as long as Vince is in charge, it's not going to change.
Well, I don't even know the reason why he's leaving.
Well, I mean, Seth said it was a frustrating working environment.
I mean, I take that with a grain of salt. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of it that could mean. Yeah, he's burnt out on the schedule. It's a hectic schedule.
It's entirely possible. I mean, everything. I can only go by what we've read, and it was a lot of it. He was frustrated with the creative direction of his character.
Maybe.
But like I said, all I can base it on is what I've read, and assuming that's in any way true, nothing with that's really going to change in 6 to 8 to 12 months if the same regime is in charge.
Yeah, you can just leave and come back for a little while and then leave again and come back. He can find his own pace.
He wants the Brock schedule.
Or a Jericho thing. Well, before AEW.
Or he can go to AEW.
I think that's your answer for everything.
Huge checks there, too.
Go to AEW.
Heck yeah, man.
Everybody's just going to AEW.
Return of John Moxley, hardcore match with Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that WWE's his home. I think Renee Young is there. That's his wife.
I know because he has an airbrush jean jacket with his face on it.
He's like a huge star there, and like he makes a ton of money. And I don't know. I just don't think he's going to go to some podunk ass little company.
Well, I mean, he said. I think what Seth said that money's not a huge thing for him.
Yeah, he
has money.
Yeah,
he's made a good amount of money in WWE. I don't think money is going to be a motivating factor for him.
Yeah,
if the nature of his frustration was creative, then if he wants to return to wrestling, then maybe he wants to go to a place where I think he'd be more satisfied creatively.
Yeah,
given his name, he will make money.
Yeah.
He's established himself as.
You should do cameos. You get to control your creative there.
Yeah, he can probably charge more than Mojo does.
How much does Mojo charge?
$69.
Nice.
Got a question here from Xena64.
Salutations, friendo. So, question of the week is, if you had to choose a wrestler to go back to their old indie name with their gimmick, who would it be? Would it be Seth Rollins to go back as Tyler Black, Finn Balor to go back as the Real Rock and Rolla, Prince Devitt, Drake Maverick to go back as Rockstar Spud? Who would you choose for them to change back to their indie name, and how would you book it? How would they be different from their WWE name? Thank you.
Thank you, Zenith.
Thank
64.
you, Zenith.
Go ahead.
So you have the right answer, but I'm going to say
the real.
So your answer is Prince Devitt.
Well, go ahead to say why you think this person should go back to their previous
Tommy
name.
End, man. That was such a cool name. Tommy End. I like Aleister Black. I know him as Aleister Black now. I'm fine with it. Tommy End is such a cool name, though. And he was showed up on SmackDown as a solo competitor in a cool, really dark, creepy vignette talking about a caricature, the aesthetic of the name Tommy End. That should be his name. Just rename him. You didn't like War Raiders, so rename him Tommy End.
All right, no,
That's a great name.
It's Finn Balor should be Prince Devitt again, man. He's
already Finn Balor, man. People love him. That name is not Balor Club. What is it? Devitt Club? That's silly.
No,
Why
it's
would
not.
he do that?
If people who like Finn Balor go and watch his Bullet Club stuff, be like, wow,
Nobody watches
this
that.
guy's got so much personality. He's a great promo.
Well, you can just change his personality. You don't need to change his name.
No, Prince Devitt's a great name.
Prince is real.
It is real.
All right, shut up. Patrick Sparks has a question.
Real.
About rich people. Real rich people. Let's see what he has to say.
Friendo's Pat here. All right, so AEW obviously coming up, Double or Nothing, all that stuff. Say in the next 3 years they do really good in our thriving company. They're not going to be any expense to Vince really, or any problem. But if they do really good, do you think we're going to see a spike in other billionaires that might have a little bit of interest in wrestling, maybe also doing the same thing? And if so, is that going to be a good thing for the industry, or is it going to be a bad thing? What do you guys think? Thanks, friendos. Bye.
Thank you, B-Man Patrick Sparks.
Thank you, B-Man.
Billionaires, man. Are there a plethora of billionaires out there?
No.
Waiting to put their money.
How long has it taken for someone after Jeff Jarrett founded TNA to actually put forth a real good chunk of money to start a wrestling promotion? It's been more than a dozen years.
Here's the bigger issue.
What?
There's nobody left to sign.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's nobody out there. Whenever people say, hey, Steven Larson, to give me the best roster from the independent scene, not including AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, even Ring of Honor. They don't have anybody over there. They've got Jeff Cobb, and that's it.
Well, Jay Lethal's good.
I know, but what is he, 80 years old?
I don't think he's that old.
He's
just been
good
around a
in
while.
2006.
No, he's still pretty good.
Man, they don't have anybody. And they're like a big company.
Well, yeah.
They're owned by a big company.
They are owned by a huge company.
There's nobody out there.
Yeah, the talent pool is getting pretty thin, and I've heard for a long time that if you want to make money, get into the wrestling business is not the way to do it.
It's like buying. It's like starting a comic book store.
Yeah.
Or a comic book publishing company.
I think just the overhead involved with running a wrestling company precludes you from turning a profit of any size anytime soon.
Do you want to start a brick and mortar baseball card shop?
Hell no.
It's a money pit.
It is.
So pretty much any brick and mortar shop
is a money pit these
is
days.
a money pit, unless
Everybody
it's a
shops
salon.
online. Yeah.
Some sort of service.
Well, it's got to be some sort of service you can't get online.
Exactly. You can't get your hair did online, Larson.
No.
So.
No, I'd be very surprised if even within the next 10 years, even if All Elite Wrestling was a huge, massive success, that anybody with deep pockets would say, hey, I want to get in this business too.
It's already oversaturated.
Yep.
And I'm sure All Elite will do just fine. But that's going to be about the limit. There's not enough talent.
All Elite also is a very singular thing where there's an upswell of support for a group of wrestlers. And I don't know if we've necessarily seen anything like this happen before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll ever see anything quite like it again.
And then, wait, why did I say no but yes?
I don't know.
There was a second part to his question. Will we see any billionaires get in a wrestling business if AEW does well? But there was like a second part of it. I forget what it was. If any other, and will it, I forget what he said. But the gist of his question, we answered it. Good job. Called to False Realities has a question also. Oh, man, about dumpster fires. Let's see what he has to say.
What's up, friendos? Called to False Realities here. Back with another Matt Chat question. And Steven Larson, I got a good one for you. You might actually like it. So, guys love talking about Enzo so much. Here's my question. Who's the biggest pile of trash? Vince Russo or Enzo? Second, who's worse than them? And 3, who's going to get hired from WWE first? 2 sweet hearty handshake. Peace.
Thank you, Cult of False Realities.
All right, Larson. Who's worse? Real one, Enzo, or Vince Russo, bro?
Well, you go first.
So, Vince Russo has had many positive contributions to the business.
Had some, yes.
He has had, well, a lot of the Attitude Era.
Yes.
A lot of people, the much ballyhooed Attitude Era. So I'm going to say, but I can't think of any positive contributions to the wrestling industry that Enzo Amore has had. Real one. And continues to have, bro, a negative. Because I don't know if this whole thing with him and Tamatonga is a work or a shoot. I don't want him in New Japan. I don't want him on my TV if I'm watching New Japan
I don't want him there
or
either.
hearing about it because I don't watch Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
I don't want that in my business. I like professional wrestling.
Yes.
And he is an entertainer to some. No, I don't want any of that business. So I'm going to say, given that Enzo, there was a time when I liked him and Cass in NXT.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty charming. Carmelo was with them. But I've soured on him pretty hardcore. I can't think of anything, bro, that they have brought to the wrestling business. Vince Russo's given us plenty of good stuff, Larson.
Yeah, he's also given us a lot of bad stuff, and he was at least partially responsible for taking away an entire wrestling company from us. WCW.
Oh, no, you can't lay that at his feet, bro.
Not in the entirety of it.
He tried to save us from Hulk Hogan, the true thing that took WCW
well, you
away
can't
from
say
us.
that Hogan. There was a myriad of reasons that WCW went into the toilet and got sold to WWE. You got to put some of that blame on Vince Russo because he cheapened in many ways the wrestling in WCW. Put that belt on David Arquette.
Whoa. You're not a fan of David Arquette?
I like David Arquette fine. I'm not blaming David Arquette for that. I'm blaming Vince Russo for that. I'm blaming Vince Russo for putting that belt on himself.
Oh, man.
He's given us a lot of crap moments in wrestling history.
Dude, listen. Be real. Wrestling sometimes it's most entertaining when it's bad. And him putting that title on himself is like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, but it wasn't entertaining at all.
Yeah, come on. It kind of was.
It wasn't.
How many thumbnails have we had with him carrying that belt? A couple, and they've all done really well.
Yeah, because he wanted to hear us talk trash about Vince Russo.
I know. It's entertaining.
I will say this. I can't really speak to his thoughts on wrestling now. I don't know. You get the idea
Russo?
that he loves professional wrestling, that he really likes it at least.
He likes his professional wrestling. He was crapping all over WWE for the longest time, like modern day stuff.
Yeah. At least his vision of pro wrestling. He appreciates the industry, I would say. Whereas I don't get that sense from Enzo. I don't think he cares about pro wrestling.
So I'm not going to call Vince Russo a liar because I don't know the truth.
Yes.
But watching that Viceland documentary.
Oh, yeah, the Montreal Screwjob one?
It's the only one I've seen so far. You've seen the Brody one, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I got to check that out. Where they ask who actually came up with the screw job, the idea for it. And Jim Cornette lays out this step-by-step, completely and totally logical reason behind him suggesting to Vince, this is what we do. And he lays out the screw job.
Well, then there's
and he provides
history,
historical
backstory, all
context.
That. Yes.
And then he explains what happens when he saw it go down and his reaction to his finish being used. And then contrast that with they cut to Vince Russo and he says,
I either wasn't there, I was asleep, bro.
Yeah.
I came up with that finish. And that was it.
no context.
None.
No evidence.
Nope.
Nothing to suggest that what he said was true.
Yes.
I believe Jim Cornette.
Oh, I do too.
So, yeah, he's still out there.
Yeah, I know.
Just trying to put it on him.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to be the guy in the spotlight.
He wants credit.
But I guess that's, but then,
because you could Enzo hasn't really brought much, if anything, positive to the wrestling industry, but he hasn't taken any joy from it.
Neville, he took Neville from us, man. He did. Yeah, he took Neville.
There's one instance I can think of 10 instances where Russo took joy out of pro wrestling for me.
Now maybe Pac is going to be something that we are dying to watch every single week in All Elite.
Yes.
When that actually happens, maybe that'll be the case. In which case, Enzo will have inadvertently given us something positive.
Yes.
But
By
for
and
the
large,
longest time,
yes,
there was no Pac on our WWE
because
TV.
of Enzo.
Because of Enzo.
Next, got a question from Steven from Geeked Out Nation.
What's up, friendo? Steven here, and my Matt Chat question this week: would Bray's Firefly Funhouse work better as a faction? And also, I have a bunch of names here, so yay or nay on people you want to see as part of Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse faction: Eric Young, Nikki Cross, Killian Dane, Bo Dallas, Tyler Breeze, Heath Slater, because he got kids, The Ascension, and No Way Jose. A bunch of people that I think aren't really doing anything but might have something to do on Bray's Firefly Funhouse. Essentially, you guys can let me know what you guys think. If you guys agree that it should be a faction, if you don't agree, which guys you think should be in part of that faction and it would be more fun on the show. Nonetheless, that's all I got. Hearty handshake, too sweet. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Steven from Geeked Out Nation.
I'm a big fan of factions, Larson. I'm a big fan of them.
I am too, but in this
Steve
case,
says yeah.
No, I'm saying this should be his faction. It should be Bray, Puppet Buzzard, Puppet Sister Abigail.
How are they going to come out of the ring, dude?
They're not going to come to the ring. He's going to come to the ring by himself. It's just all in the funhouse. They're part of the show, but I feel like Bray, because when he was with the Wyatt family and they broke him up for the Wyatt family, we were all saying, well, just put him back with the Wyatt family because that's a more interesting dynamic. Let him establish this new thing by himself with his puppet friends in the funhouse, and when he comes down to the wrestling ring, just have it be as a solo competitor. And let's dispel the idea that he's going to have a faction as quickly as possible, because people, especially with Nikki Cross not being assigned to brand, apparently people are going to think, oh, well, Nikki Cross should be part of this new Wyatt family. Why does it be a Wyatt family? If they're going to try and do a reinvention of Bray Wyatt, why stick him with the faction right away? If people are just going to think, oh, it's just another Wyatt family. Keep him solo. It's something different for him. Yeah, different.
Yeah, you're probably right, man. You're probably right. People already have their own identities. Eric Young shouldn't be the Buzzard. There's already a Buzzard. It's a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though. I'm pretty sure they're going to...
Here's the only person I would be cool with if they brought out for the Buzzard. No, Dan Spivey.
Oh, yeah, because he was Mercy.
And if Bo was, as you mentioned once, the mailman.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
Bo the mailman. That'd be good, too.
That's it.
He should just come out like a dog. Like a legit dog.
Wait, Bo?
No. Bray.
Oh, Bray should come out as a dog?
No, with a dog.
Oh, with a dog.
Yeah, just as a dog.
I was confused. Are you going to have a human dressed as dog or transformed into dog?
Like prosthetics.
Okay.
Like Dogman.
All right.
No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. No, I don't know. I'm a fan of factions, but I'm also not a fan of why, what's the logic behind Eric Young all of a sudden being Mercy the Buzzard? That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. We know he's Eric Young.
We know, yeah, he already has it. He's Sanity Guy.
Yeah. Now, if they were bring up a couple unknowns from NXT, that might be somewhat different, but no, still.
Yeah, okay, so let's not even do unknowns from NXT. They go out and they sign a couple of indie people because NXT people already have their kind of identities also. You can't bring out Punishment Martinez.
Well, I don't think it'd be the case. It'd just be like people strictly on the Florida house show loop.
Who's on the house show loop?
Oh, I don't know.
There are people that I don't know.
Exactly.
I was watching these this promo from these two dudes that are in a tag team, and I was like, one of them looks a lot like Chuck Taylor.
Okay.
But he's not. And the other guy looks like NWO Bugenhagen, but it wasn't Bugenhagen, who himself is on the house show circuit as well. And they were like cutting some promo. Like, who are these guys? I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
You go outside WWE.
All right.
How about Allison Kay as Abigail the Witch? Kind of looks like her, huh?
Yeah.
Who else?
But still, I know who Sienna is. I know who Allison Kay is.
Yeah, but dude,
she was in the Mae Young Classic.
You're going outside WWE now.
She was in the Mae Young Classic.
WWE.
No, J.R. Kratos.
as Abby the Witch?
No, as Mercy the Buzzard.
There you go. See? That's good.
That's better.
That's good. Derevko as Mercy the Buzzard.
There you go.
I like it.
Next question from
Adam Mayhem as Abby the Witch.
Stephen M's got a question. Take it away, Stephen.
What's going on, friendos? Stephen M here. Just getting caught up on SmackDown. And I'm going to the Avengers midnight premiere tonight, so that's going to be class. Now, what wrestler needs a repackage / new music? Roman Reigns needs new music. He needs something that's just dope, like the Usos to come out to. And this new attitude is great. So, Too Sweet, Hardy Handshake, Shoulder Lean.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm going to take this moment to hype Steven Larson Book Raw. I know some of you out there may like some of the Create a Wrestler 2K19 stuff that's out on the internet. You've never seen anything like Steven Larson Book Raw. It's the best thing ever. So I'm gonna advocate for Apollo Crews to be Apollo Crews, Cruise. He's a car aficionado,
motorsports enthusiast.
Exactly. Who drives to the ring on a 4-wheeler.
Well, if we could do it for real, it would be an actual car.
An actual car. But mainly, and here's a better idea. So this past week on Raw, Roode beat Ricochet in his debut solo match on Raw. How about this? That writes off Ricochet, and he comes back as Warp Speed.
Warp Speed.
Again, you people really need to be watching Steven Larson Book Raw. Goes live every Tuesday afternoon. You need to watch it. It's maybe the best thing ever.
It's fun, yes. I'm going to say Robert Roode. He's been hamstrung by this glorious thing the moment he stepped on the main roster. Vince saw him in NXT and is like, I like this glorious thing. Let's just make him glorious. Mm-hmm. And that's all it's ever amounted to on main. If this is really the reinvention of Robert Roode, of Bobby Roode, go all the way with it. Ditch the robe. Ditch the glorious thing. No one sings along to it anymore because no one cares.
Oh, really? They don't sing along to it anymore?
I don't hear anybody singing along to it anymore.
Man,
I don't think anybody gives a damn. His song worked so well in NXT because there was this disconnect from his character and the theme song. It worked so well. But basically right now, like, his character is just, okay, I'm not smiling generic good guy now. I'm kind of bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
We have no sense of who his character is.
Yeah, that's true.
He needs a complete reinvention. Have him come out.
Look, I made a little Robert Roode right here.
Good.
With his mustache.
Now that he's got the mustache, have him walk around backstage in his tailored suits.
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Cop.
Yeah. Undercover cop, yes.
Yeah. True detective.
Yeah. Give him a real character. We saw what he can do in NXT with a real character, and it's great. Drop the glorious thing. Get rid of the robes. Back to basics. That's what I say.
Okay. All right. Fine. Sounds good. I think you should take like Corey Graves' theme of the mustache being overly sexual and just run with that.
That's fine. If that's what it takes.
Be another valid.
And then just do like then he could still be glorious, but then make the song more centered on his facial hair as opposed to him as a person.
Yeah. Like his Tron is like the mustache with like the sun rays
This is what yeah, but then underneath is like on Conan O'Brien where the mouth was superimposed on there singing the song.
We've just buried him.
Glorious.
You just run him into the ground.
My mustache is so glorious. There you go.
Okay, that's good.
If that's the direction you want to go, I'm a little bit more grounded. True Detectives bar up my speed.
Yeah, let's do True Detective. Can we make, instead of Glorious Impact Connecticut on Steve Larson Book Raw, can we do True Detectives?
Mustafa Ali and Bob Roode. We can't get a mustache on there. Can't change his facial hair.
Boy, that's annoying.
Next, Rich, the Smash Brother.
Smash Brother.
See what he has to say.
Hey, friendos, Rich the Smash Brother here, reppin', always. A little bit more of a question and a concern today. The tag divisions. All three champs, other than the Hardys, the other two aren't worthy. Hawkins and Ryder, crap. They got the WrestleMania pop, they're crap. Drop the titles to someone worthy. Have Usos or the Revival pick it up and have a 4-month feud going into SummerSlam for those titles. There's a story. Iconics, they suck. I'm just going to put it out there. I know it might not be a popular opinion. They suck. They didn't win before WrestleMania. They didn't have an impact on the pin at WrestleMania. They did a cheap pin. They haven't done jack crap since they won the titles. They need to drop them. They're a comedy act. They need to be out of the title scene. My question mainly, is there any rivalry they can get into, meaning Ryder and Hawkins or the Iconics, any team that they can get into to turn the volume up a little bit and make them worth watching? Because honestly, they're not. They're just crap. So let me know what you think, boys. And Chase will be joining me on next week's Match Chat. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
I go first. Both teams just need wins. If after winning their respective titles, they had showed up on Raw and SmackDown and beat, well, I guess Hawkins and Ryder did. They beat the Revival again in a better match than what they did at Mania. But we haven't seen them in a match since.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Like a one-on-one, team-on-team match. They were involved in that 8-man tag match at War Raiders debut. What?
So you like the Iconics?
Yeah, I think they're good.
I like the Iconics.
I think they're wildly entertaining, but the one thing they just don't like, they don't book them to win ever.
Okay, hold on now. Are you a fan of the concept? Because I think I've just realized that the concept of the Chickenshit Heel, which was perfectly illustrated by Pritchard when he was talking about Jericho on whatever Judgment Day.
It was Judgment Day.
Yeah. How it's got to be somebody who cheats to win, who is basically booked weak. They can't win without cheating.
To think that anybody could beat them, and therefore you don't think they deserve the titles.
Right. Yes. And so whenever they're not in a title match, I mean, I don't necessarily think they should be losing, but I understand the concept. I'm just not sure I'm a big fan of the concept in general.
I'm not at all.
Yeah, it's just it naturally leads you to think that this title reign is weak.
Yes.
Jericho's title reign originally, that was a weak title reign. I even think that Seth Rollins' title reign previously, when he was a chicken shit heel, that didn't make any sense because he would always put on these amazing matches, and that didn't work for him.
I mean, that kind of attitude, like as far as the chicken shit heel, might have worked in the territory days,
right? Yeah,
where you have your top guy going facing off the champion who's torn through your territory, and it makes that guy look really good, And then the chicken shit heel champ pulls out a win at the last minute, and you get a lot of face heat for your top guy in your territory because wow, he really should have won that title. Yeah. But the thing is, that chicken shit heel is on to the next territory the following week, doing the whole routine over again.
Yeah.
They're not on your TV week in and week out like that.
Right.
Where you're like, why do these people even have the belts? They can't win anything.
It's a weird like go away heat that
it kind of is.
Yeah, no, I had to think about that because a lot of people have been complaining about the Iconics. I actually like the Iconics. I think they're good wrestlers.
They're good wrestlers. They're entertaining.
Yeah,
they're really entertaining.
I think they are, but I totally understand why people are like, dude, what? They're crap because they don't book them to win.
Especially when you got these new titles.
Yeah.
You want to make them feel really important.
I know.
And having your champions lose constantly doesn't make the titles feel important at all.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing about the Iconics. They will win
when it counts, essentially.
When it counts. They'll probably drop the titles at like SummerSlam to Asuka and Kairi Sane. That's like my early prediction. But they're gonna be chicken shit heels, and they'll cheat to win, and they'll win when it matters. And that's what it is. And I think that there's nothing you can really do because that's just how they're booked. Now, on the other side of it, Hawkins and Ryder have been basically non-existent. This was a thrown together tag team that looked like it could have had a cool story behind it.
They didn't do any build though.
And instead there was no middle act, and they just fast forwarded to the very end of their story, which is them winning at WrestleMania for the moment.
They've had one match, the rematch against Revival, the Raw after Mania, then the following week when War Raiders debuted, they were in an 8-man tag match and took the pin.
I think the problem is, I think that they just need to prove their mettle. The problem is they're not going to be able to prove it against War Raiders because they just got there and they might win those titles off of, because the Revival and the Usos,
they're looking like they're going to get into a feud.
They're going to get into a feud, but either one of those teams can go up against War Raiders for those titles if War Raiders take it off Hawkins and Ryder. Because, I mean, that's just a good match. Who wouldn't want to see the Revival versus War Machine? That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the Usos also.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's nothing. I really like Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. I just don't see much for them, you know? I mean, they're the team that sort of got these fluke wins anyways. It's not like they're booked really strong.
No.
And that's like the worst. Like, you're not even a chicken shit heel. You're just like a really weak champion holding a belt you
Face
probably
champion,
don't deserve.
Yeah.
Face champion. So why am I going to root for this guy? He doesn't deserve the title.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of that's because there was really no story leading up to the win.
Yeah.
Next, we got a question from Guion Halili. This might be my favorite question of the whole week.
I love this question.
Hey there, friendos. This is Jacksonville's number one Matt Chatter, Guion Halili. And I understand that last week, someone by the name of El Grande Luchador asked a question in my place. I don't know who that guy is, but he's trying to take my identity. Anyways, here's my Matt Chat question. Last week, Steve, you mentioned Gordon Ramsay. I remember that. And 2 weeks ago, Larson, you mentioned Guy Fieri from Triple D. So, I thought it'd be fun if you guys were to book a match between the two. Who would win? Steve, could you talk about why Gordon Ramsay would win and what his finisher would be? And Larson, could you talk about why Guy Fieri would win and what his finisher would be? Let me know your thoughts. This has been Jacksonville's number one. Peace out, guys.
Thank you, Guion. Number one.
Thank you. You want to go first? Go ahead. Make the case for Gordon Ramsay.
All you got to do is watch TV. What, he's going to have a problem with some rotund happy guy who just loves to eat a lot? Gordon Ramsay's intense, man. His Hell's Kitchen finisher is like Hell's Gate, but he's berating your crappy culinary skills the entire time.
Yeah.
So, and then he'll make you tap out. Gordon, man, come on, look at that guy. He even yells at kids on that kids' kitchen
He doesn't
thing.
yell at kids at all.
Nah, man, but you know he wants to.
No, he doesn't.
He's got it inside of him.
No, a guy's going to take Gordon where? To Flavor Town.
That's a delicious place. Who doesn't want to go there?
I know.
That's not
But he's
intimidating.
going to be treating Gordon Ramsay like he's made of eggs because Guy Fieri hates eggs. Do you know that? He doesn't like eggs.
I didn't know that.
Doesn't like eggs.
Well, there's a heel trait for you.
Yeah, doesn't like eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's all about
Mr.
health.
Triple D is, what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Now you made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry. With one look, man.
Yeah, you did.
I'm rent free in your head right now.
You're renting rent free in my head?
Yeah, I am. Go on, Hell's
Is Gordon Ramsay even still on TV?
Yeah, he's got 3 different properties, man. They're all on BBC Two. They're doing great.
Oh, Guy's got like 5 shows on Food Network.
Nobody watches that. That's right next to the Pursuit channel.
Are
Get
you?
out of here with
You
that.
talk? Well, no, you're.
He's got 5 shows, and they're all reruns from 2005.
No,
Get
they're still
outta
making new
here.
Triple Ds. It's a juggernaut, just like Guy is. He would run roughshod over Gordon Ramsay. He's all talk. Gordon Ramsay is.
You're insane. That guy is. And here's the thing: Gordon Ramsay gets results done. He shows up and he says, "This place is crap. Fix it." So they do, and then he wins. Guy Fieri doesn't have results for anything. He just comes around. Oh wow, look at this!
Why don't you
He
ask?
starts shoving food into his mouth.
Ask if that's the case for the restaurants featured on Triple D. I'm sure this is a business boon for them.
Like the smallest of rubs.
You know what?
He comes in there. And, oh wow, this is great. His face gets all red, and he's got his sunglasses on the back of his head.
You know,
like an idiot.
some Friday nights when I'm not doing anything else because they run Triple D all night. I'll sit there and watch Triple D in the place that looks good. I'll make a note of it.
It's good. It's comfort watching. I really like Triple D. I think it's great. However, if you're asking me which one's going to win in a fight, there's no contest here. Gordon Ramsay is real.
Oh, Guy.
Hell's Kitchen? Are you kidding me? Versus what? Some lovely diner?
Guy
dude,
for the win,
you
man.
know deep down.
No way, man.
You know deep down. You'll be pulling for a guy, but Gordon's going to squash him.
No
Guy
squash.
Fieri is enhancement talent. Barely enhancement talent. I'd love to go to Flavortown. Luis Ariza.
It is the first of our 2 text questions. He says, since Shayna Baszler is the queen of spades and Natalya is the queen of hearts, who would be the 2 queens across all the brands? So I guess the other 2 queens in the deck of cards. And also, who would be the 4 kings and the 4 aces? He mentions Ricochet because he is King Ricochet.
King Ricochet.
And then Jordan Devlin, obviously, the Irish ace.
Okay.
So I thought Ginny, she's all about high fashion.
She calls herself the queen, doesn't she?
Maybe.
I think she does.
Oh,
I think
okay,
she calls
so
herself
she'd be the queen of diamonds. And then Liv Morgan, you change her gimmick till she's like a clubber, She's the queen of clubs.
Oh, that's good. This is really well thought out. I don't have an answer. I'm just marveling at yours.
As far as the kings, Drew McIntyre looks like he's just like one step removed from a Game of Thrones gimmick.
Yeah, he does.
He'd be a king. Shinsuke Nakamura, of course, king of strong style.
And he wore a crown back at Wrestle Kingdom.
Saxon Huxley looks like if you just put a crown on him, he could be on a playing card.
Yeah, it's like a really low-budget king.
And then Matt Riddle, king of bros.
Good.
Or Montez Ford.
Montez looks like a king.
Because he, on Twitter, King Tez is his name.
Well, he's also worn a crown to the ring as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, it fits.
As far as aces, of course, you got to go with Jordan Devlin.
He's
Never
the
bet
Irish
against the ace.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, top guy.
Yeah, he's top guy.
Johnny Gargano.
That's good.
Top guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kofi.
Well, what about as an ace Steel?
Well, I just went with WWE.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because obviously Tanahashi's the ace.
Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace, yeah.
Yeah, Tanahashi, the ace.
The ace. Go ace.
John Cena should be an ace.
Well, he's not really a full-time wrestler anymore.
He's like the ace of WWE.
He's not really a wrestler anymore. He's a movie star now.
Good point. No, I like all your answers. These are really good. I don't have anything better than that. So you win.
Fair enough. Last text question from the Howdly Doodly champion, the Diddly Doodler.
I'll read this one.
Yes, please.
So, I was wondering, you guys are in the ring. The match is going smoothly and you set up for a body slam. The slam goes according to plan except for one problemo. Uno problemo. The horse has left the barn, so to say, or in simpler terms, you done shit yourself.
I've never heard that phrase before in reference to crapping one's pants.
I thought it just meant that there's nothing you can do about it. It's a done deal. The horse has left the barn, right?
Yeah, maybe.
But I like that for using for shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I don't really shit myself, so I don't have a chance to use it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done. I generally don't do that twice a year.
He says you have about 5 minutes left to go. You need to get the finish right, whatever that is, and leave to go clean your trunks, your butt. How do you leave such a crappy situation?
Well, first things first, you got to hope this one of those, like most wrestlers, they don't just wear the one pair of trunks. They got two on.
Yeah.
Or sometimes trunks and a thong. So I'm hoping it's one of those days I got two pairs of trunks on. Keep that duty contained, and you got to hope it's not, liquid.
I get the feeling you're a black trunks guy.
Yeah.
So you're not going to run the risk of seeing the butt stain.
The turd.
Like, because didn't CM Punk, couldn't you, see the butt?
Oh, maybe. So that's the first hope.
Yeah.
Second is if that were to happen, regardless what the finish is, I would hope that there would be a way to execute the finish without involving anybody's head going near my butt area.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
That's...
Does the ref just have to pick up poop?
That's CM Punk's poop, apparently.
You. Was it against Dean?
It was against Dean, yeah.
I didn't know there was actually a nugget of poop that got out of it.
I didn't know that either.
You.
Anyways, what now?
Oh, so yeah, I just want to make sure that there's never a situation where my opponent's head is near my crappy anus.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look.
And then as soon as the bell rings, I'm out of there.
I would honestly do this.
Really sprint and have to walk.
I would do this
with some of the parts, so I'm not smearing crap all over my.
So if we're looking at a house show situation, I leave immediately.
Throw up the accent.
I do this. I go.
Yeah, you do what Drew did on SmackDown a couple weeks back. Get up and leave.
Maybe he crapped his pants.
Could be.
So maybe I'll do that. If it's like Mania, and this is the spotlight, you can't just leave then. So
you gotta do your 5 minutes and take it home.
Yeah. You just hope to God that it doesn't come out like it did with Punk. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna watch this match.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody so much for tuning in.
Yes,
Appreciate all you Matt chatters also.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.